Hey, Dr. Karen here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And this is the week of May 25th, 2020. So some of the things I want to tell you about today have to do with your pineal gland, which is in the center, kind of like behind the center of your forehead. There are some people that have noticed that they've been having some headaches, and I used to have headaches quite a bit. And when I figured out what it was associated with what I call ascension upgrades. And that is when the vibration of the planet elevates, so our vibe getting bigger. And so what would happen is I would get these, headaches in the middle of, my whole head would feel really uncomfortable. And I knew at that point of time that I was kind of an empath for Mother Earth. So I would call them Mother Earth headaches. And at the time, I really didn't know too much, about what to do, except that it was really uncomfortable. And I would just lie down and fall asleep, and I just knew it would wear off. It didn't matter what I did at the time in terms of I could try patching, I could try hydration, I could try minerals, all these different kinds of things, and it didn't seem to work. And now I realize it was because it was a spiritual issue. So I haven't had one of these in quite a while, thankfully. However, one of the things that we learned, thanks to one of my clients and students, is that our physical and energetic pineal glands are going through this shift, this change, this elevation in frequency. And what that could mean is that the chi, or the energy flowing in and out of the pineal gland, can shift and change, and sometimes increase quite a bit. And that's a good thing. However, the physical body sometimes has a little glitch where it doesn't quite recalibrate itself as quickly as we would love for it to be. So we're completely asymptomatic through this higher vibrational change. So if you know divine muscle testing, one of the things you can just check in is just to see how happy and balanced is the chi or energy flow in and out of your pineal gland. So you get a percentage out of 100%. Ideally, it's 100% balanced. So again, you want to check how balanced and happy is the energy flow or chi flow in and out of my pineal gland. So again, you want 100%. So that's one thing you can measure. The other things you can measure with divine muscle testing is how well the physical pineal gland is communicating and balanced with the energetic pineal gland. Because for some people, the energetic pineal gland just kind of goes, the third eye just wide open, and the physical pineal gland is like, can't quite communicate with you. So what we want to do is make sure that the two pieces, the energetic, you can call it spiritual as well, the energetic and the physical pineal gland, are able to both communicate and balance with each other. So you can check that percentage as well. How happy and balanced is my communication between an energetic balance between my physical pineal gland and my energetic pineal gland. And again, we want as close to 100% as possible. So the third thing that you can measure is how well your pineal gland can communicate with the rest of your body. And you can do it both with the physical, how well can my physical pineal gland communicate with all its neurochemicals, everything, that nervous system. How well can it communicate with the rest of my body? Because we used to think that the hypothalamus was the master gland of the body, but apparently the pineal gland is. Wow, mind blown. So that is one question. The other question you can ask is the energetic. How happy and balanced and optimal is my energetic communication between the energetic pineal gland and the rest of my energy body? Right? So you have these two different things, and again, getting a percentage out of 100%. So aside from headaches, what other symptoms could potentially you have? Well, the third eye is called the third eye for a reason. It has to do with your inner vision. I know for me, although I haven't had headaches, what has been happening lately is my visual fields have been really kind of shifting. So I've had kind of intermittent blurry vision for seemingly no reason, not related to my contact lens, not related to my glasses, not related to the lighting. And one day I'll be like, oh, I can really read this really well, this bottle or can or whatever I'm reading the ingredients of. And another day I'd be like, okay, not able to read anything. So I intuitively just knew it wasn't dangerous. There was a shift. And here's the other thing is, there really is light reflection going on out here that then sends signals to my eyes and then my brain to tell me what the shape is, the color is, all that kind of stuff. So really, the brain interprets everything into shapes. It's not like my eyeballs itself. So could it be something to do with my eyeballs being imbalanced? Yeah, I could, for sure. But because it's been intermittent in and out, I tracked that for me, thanks to this client of mine, that it was connected to this pineal gland expansion. So every time my pineal gland went through this expansion, I no longer got the headaches, but the vision would kind of get a little blurry intermittently. So it's nothing that's dangerous for me. Of course, if you're getting blurry vision, you should definitely check in with your ophthalmologist or optometrist just to make sure it's not anything that is serious physically. I know, some of my friends that have going through, whether it be the ascension process or using LifeWave phototherapy patches to heal their eyes and their vision, have had to change their glasses fairly often. Well, I'm a little bit not wanting to do that. So I'm just going to see, how things play out with regards to the vision. But yeah, so if you know Divine Muscle Testing, you can check out these percentages. Now, what happens if you're not over 95% happy? Well, if you need to know more, then you may need to investigate why, either use your intuition, or if you're a TOLPAKAN Healing level 1 or level 2 student, you can just go to your charts that we have in the program and the healing method and try to find out what it is that God wants you to know and understand to heal in order to optimize the communication, the balance, between the two, how recalibrated it is, for example. Now, if you don't need to know more and you muscle test, I don't need to know, then all you need to do is to get into stillness and do a TOLPAKAN Healing Directive. So for example, you could say, I now command that my physical and energetic pineal gland be optimized for its chi flow in and out, as well as its communication to all parts of me in the highest and best way. Thank you. That kind of covers all bases, right? So that's a kind of an all-in-one that you could do. If you were like, oh my gosh, how do I get into stillness? Well, not that long ago, I did a lesson on stillness on the fly, and that's to share with you how, even if you're talking like I am with you, or if you are exercising or watching TV or a movie or petting your dog, whatever it is, you can actually be in that space of stillness and 0 point, creating your ideal life just by focusing on the vibration inside your body. Now, because I'm fairly well trained and I'm practicing every day, I can instantaneously just turn my attention inwards and feel the flow. And I don't know about you, if you've been doing the stillness through this method, which I call stillness on the fly or stillness through observing internal movement. But I have noticed over the last week or so, since the angels told me recently that I've gone up a vibe level, whatever that means exactly, but it means, it means, okay, I have a higher vibration than I did before, and they actually tell me through various different means. In this case, it was electronic, stuff that they fiddle around with. And then once I get the message, then it starts working, the electronics. So in this case, about 7.1% of my waking time, I'm able to connect to stillness or that 0 point, which actually is pretty darn good. I mean, for most people, if they want automatic healing, I call it auto healing, the ideal percentage is 9 to 10% of your waking time consistently. Now, I haven't gotten there. Some days I forget it altogether until about 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, oops. And those are usually days where I'm working on the computer and trying to figure stuff out and using that left brain a lot. And sometimes I just literally forget to pay attention to my body. However, days where I'm exercising, I'm doing healing work, that's the easiest one for me. If I'm doing healing work, then it's much, much easier for me to remember to feel the energy in my body. So I worked it up from 6 point something, which was all last month, like 6.7, 6.8, to about 7.1% of my waking time. And I started doing that consistently. And it was really cool because I feel the vibe even stronger in my body. It kind of reminds me of the time where I think I tried CBD oil from Elmo Mountain Therapeutics for the first time, and I felt like my body vibe was like, woo, like, woo, okay, So I was like, okay, this is like a body high. And so I got a little tired or sleepy, but once I figured out what that felt like, it's almost like my energy body remembered what that was like. So since then, I've been able to generate, just by my attention, the same body high or body vibe, if you would like to call it that, that I did with the CBD oil. So do I use CBD oil on a regular basis? Not really. Because, well, I can't really tell the difference anymore. Like I did, the first couple of times I used it. Do I use it periodically just for the heck of it? Yeah, I do. For more for theory than for effect. But my husband loves it, so he gets really, really obvious benefit from that. So it's all good. But anyway, so that was just my little hint on, how you can start feeling that feeling into your body and getting into that stillness place. Because the stillness is funny because it's like, seems like the opposite, right? We're feeling movement in our bodies and we're going still. I don't get it. Well, the thing is, it's your mind, that monkey mind is going blah, 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 blah. That part starts to still because you're so focused and you're using your mind to focus on the energy in your body. So there's that part of you always noticing this movement and flow. And so you're fully embodied, your energy circuits are in the present tense. And this is where we can actually manifest a new creative future together. And speaking of manifesting, one of the things that happened today, while I was, waking up, I was noticing there was just some interesting energy. I couldn't really put my finger on it yet, but thanks to my very sensitive husband, he was able to tell me that his head felt like something was bombarding him. So I'm like, okay, let me take a look into that. And what I found was it was this, I call negative telepathy. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I was checking to see if it was like military, covert military, alien, like what's going on? No. Was it a device? No. It was coming from humanity. And I was like, humanity? That's kind of weird because, no offense, but the average person doesn't know how to do telepathy so well. So I'm like, how could all these people do negative telepathy? So I thought, okay, is this some sort of rogue group or something? So we looked into it, and these were not anybody in particular. They weren't part of an organization. So when I was checking in with source, like how many people are involved, it was like over 285,000 people involved in this negative telepathy from all over the world. So I figured it out finally, and what it was the feeling of fear that was so intense, it would be like a 9 out of 10 in intensity. And the fear among all these 285,000 people was at the same level, so coherent, which is very interesting because we think about coherency in love, but is it possible to be coherent in a certain vibration of fear? And the answer is yes, it is. And that was the lesson for me, is yes. So these people with that much fear all together at once, feeling the fear, enough of the people were doing it, not on purpose, we're doing it, we're being in that state of fear, that it actually is like a force to deal with. And so for people that are susceptible with maybe low boundaries or high sensitivity, their clairsentience is unbalanced, you can actually feel this almost like an attack, but it's not purposeful attack on you. So what it is, this negative telepathy, is sort of like the emotions of enough people to shift. For example, a random event generator. This is a machine that's sort of like an electronic coin toss, 0, 1, 0, 1. And, if nothing global is happening on the world, it's pretty much 50-50, 0 and 1s, like 50 heads, 50 tails. However, with certain world events, they've seen a shift in this random event generator. So without, somebody touching the machines, these are all around the world, they've set them up all around the world. When Princess Diana died or the 9/11 happened, there was definitely a skew. There was definitely a shift. The emotions of the planet skewed, that random event generator. So it's something similar to this. The fear is so great that it's able to make that shift. So if you're a sensitive soul, you might have felt it. Now, what we can do is actually kind of produce a counteracting wave. And in this case, it would be love. The counteracting wave of love, bigger than that negative, inadvertent telepathy of fear, can counteract that. So I did my part, but I would love for you to do your part as well. And who are these people, the 285,000 plus people who were feeling fear at a 9 out of 10? So this is pretty intense. 10 out of 10 is basically you're fearing for your life, you're going to die in a moment, that kind of fear, right? So 9 out of 10 is pretty intense. So what I gathered, and at least from source and the way I've asked it, is that those people have family members diagnosed with COVID-19. So let me repeat that. Those 285,000 people who are that much of a fear are fearing for the lives of their loved ones, not friends, family members. Now, is it necessarily a death sentence to have COVID-19 diagnosed? No. However, our fear is not helpful. In fact, it's well known that stress and fear decrease the health of the immune system. And unfortunately, fear in this case, as you can see, is infectious. So if your boundaries are down, you're in a weakened state, you don't have that scale of stillness that you can enter at any moment, you can be affected by global fear. Now, this is not a lot of people, really. I mean, billions of people on Earth, and there's 285,000 plus people, but the fear was so great, it was able to make that shift, that negative telepathy. So although I don't have permission and to heal every single one of those people of their fear, we can counteract that frequency with the frequency of love. And love being so powerful, if you do it, I do it, everyone watching this video do it, that really, really helps. And because we can't force people to be out of fear, right? I mean, sometimes people are being forced into fear with various different manipulative ways, but we can't force people out of fear. All we can do is love. So I'm sending you some love, and I see in my mind, in stillness, a future where we don't have a reason to fear anything. And just imagine angel wings wrapping around everyone in fear, and sending love and healing to whoever has been diagnosed. And here's the other thing, it's just because of your diagnosis, the intensity of the infection could be a 1 out of 10, but because of the fear, right, a lot more damage can be done because of the fear. We call that the nocebo effect. The nocebo effect is, for example, knowing that you've been labeled with COVID-19 and your mind starts like, oh my God, I could die. You know what I mean? And the fear builds, your immune system goes down, and the universe has no other choice, if the fear is big enough, no other choice than to give you what you want. And what you say you want is not what you want, it's what you vibrate is what you want. So if you vibrate fear, the universe goes, I'll give you something more to fear about. I mean, it's neutral. It doesn't judge what you want. It just reflects back to you what you're putting out there. So if we're afraid of being sick with COVID-19, and even if it was diagnosed wrong, but somebody labeled us as being diagnosed with COVID-19, you can literally manifest the exact symptoms of COVID-19 and even worse because you think you have it. It's called the nocebo effect. We know the placebo effect, right? You've heard of placebo effect. That is where you take a sugar pill and you think it's the real deal and you get better. The nocebo effect is you don't have the disease, but you're labeled the disease, for example, and you manifest all the things in your disease. So basically your mind's causing your body chemistry to change as if you had this. So it's very important for us to take control of our own minds, of our own hearts, of our own resonance and vibration. Got it? Okay, some announcements. So on Monday's show with Dr. Dennis Lobstein and I, we are going to be doing a show specifically around how do we treat the symptom of fear using acupuncture and Chinese medicine. We are actually going to share with you how to use phototherapy patches on specific acupuncture points to help support your emotional system, your Shen, if you will, that energy body, that emotional energy body of yours, so that you will be more balanced and more calm. You can definitely use acupuncture for that. It's well known for, calming the system. So we're going to share with you some protocols on how you can use phototherapy patches for 12 hours a day to access that calmness. So tune in. I'm going to put the link near this video. So you can tune in on Monday at 12 noon Eastern for the Light Warrior Radio, where we do the Life Wave. That's the phototherapy patch name, the phototherapy patch protocols for fear. That's going to be Monday, June 1st at 12 noon Eastern. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, I'll put the link here as well, is that there is a summit called the 5G Summit, talking about 5G, talking with different healthcare providers, different researchers about what they found out about 5G, because we're not being told very much by government. And in fact, many believe, which you can see by the videos and things online, that it's true, that while we were sequestered into our homes, it gave the telecom companies a wonderful opportunity to put 5G all over the place without us actually detecting or even knowing it. It's just kind of when you're in the house, they get a chance to do that without you, knowing about it, or at least arguing about it or whatever. So I think that the way it's been rolled out has been a little bit suspicious. So I think it's our responsibility, if we really do care about our community, ourselves, our children, people that we love, to find out more, to understand more about it. It doesn't mean that I would necessarily agree 100% with every one of those scientists, that are on the 5G summit. But I do think it is my responsibility to understand more. And here's the really cool thing. When you know light medicine, when you understand more, you can actually make shifts faster. So you can actually teach your body how to become more resilient no matter what negative energy there is. Cool. So if you're interested in learning more about 5G, I'm going to put the link to the summit below. And I know that I'm not going to have time to watch every single lecture. So I'm just going to buy because it's half price, I think, the first week or something. Anyway, or before Monday. So I just bought the recordings and transcripts, just so I can access them later when I have time. And you might choose to do that as well. I think it's like a big discount before Monday. So just want to let you know about it, because a lot of people have come to me and asked me, what do I think about 5G, yada, yada. I'm not an absolute expert at everything 5G. Okay, all I do is help the body become more resilient to negative energies, including 5G. So we'll put the link there in case you want to partake in the summit. It's free to listen in all week, next week. So I'd love to get some feedback from you from this video. So number one, if it's been helpful, how has it been helpful? Have you noticed a difference in how you feel after balancing your pineal gland? And then were you able to tap into some of that negative telepathy a little bit and feeling that fear? And then when, you went into love, did you feel a shift? On Thursday prior to you viewing this video. Let me know so you can post it in the comments on YouTube if you're on YouTube, or on Facebook if you're on Facebook. Lots of love to you, and until next time, bye for now.